GM to everyone. My name is Arun Maharajan. I am the blockchain lead within the UNICEF Office of Innovation, more specifically the ventures team. So I'm here to help you guys make sense of the UNICEF Innovation Hackathon at ETHGlobal. Uh, so for those of you who do not know about UNICEF, I'll give a bit of an intro. Let me share my screen. Hope you can see my screen. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, for those of you who are not aware of UNICEF, so we are a UN agency. We have been around since 1946. We work in 190 countries. Uh, Essentially, our goal is to improve the lives of children and young people around the world. We do a whole lot of things in a whole lot of areas. As you can imagine, it's not an easy mandate to fulfill. So it cuts across various areas: nutrition, social policy, water, education, so on. In this hackathon, we will focus on a couple of these topics, and then let's see what we come up with. Of course, we have a huge focus on innovation, uh, and that is primarily led by the UNICEF Office of Innovation that I am a part of. Um, One interesting thing, maybe I can show you guys the UNICEF Venture Fund website. So this is the team that I'm part of, UNICEF Ventures. So we uh, have a few parts in the team. We of course invest in early stage frontier tech solutions, including blockchain slash Web3 from emerging markets that can benefit children and youth. We also build internal prototypes in the various tech areas that we are part of, and we also interface and work very closely with the Digital Public Goods Alliance. And we are a big fan of open source. So those are some of the things that we do. Uh, we have a whole big portfolio. A lot of it is in blockchain. I think about 19 of them, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 19 investments made. Uh, it's pretty cool. So I would suggest you check out this website. You can go through our portfolio. You can of course filter it uh, with blockchain, and you can check out what all projects are there. If you're interested in the other areas, of course, please go ahead. Um, Although we invest in open source solutions, we are interested in our startups making revenue, getting acquired. So all of that is also important. So it's not just for a charitable cause; it's also for from the startups perspective to thrive, right? And we have invested in a whole lot of places. So I would like highly suggest that you take a look at this to get an idea of the team that is sponsoring this hackathon. Now, coming back to the hackathon, so we have been working with blockchain since 2015. Uh, uh, and our first pilot was in fact with the Bitcoin blockchain. I think Ethereum didn't exist around the time of this pilot, where we tried to put hashes of photos on chain as a method of validating ID. Uh, and since then, we have made a lot of progress. We have some smart contract work, some tokens, and even a DAO which we are building right now. We also operate the UNICEF Crypto Fund, which is, I think, the first of its kind. We are definitely the first UN agency to operate a fund such as this, where we um, not only receive crypto, but we keep it as crypto and then we spend it as crypto. Most of it has so far been used to fund the startups that the venture fund uh, works with. So, for example, if like one of you uh, does very well in this hackathon, and then later on wish to build up that idea, that winning idea, into a startup, into a registered private entity, we'll of course be happy to talk to you further when it comes to getting a seed funding of up to $100,000, for example. Yeah. So there are various links here. You can check them out. You can find more about our blockchain work in these links. There are linked a couple of videos here for you to take a look at. Now coming to the meat of uh, the hackathon. So we of course don't have a chain preference. Of course, we love the Ethereum ecosystem, what it has done to the world, especially to the world of developing open source digital public goods, which is fantastic, and that's why we are here. So any EVM compatible code is great. Feel free. We are very agnostic. We don't say you have to use this or that. Uh, we basically do care about the use case. So it's crucial for us that it ultimately helps solve a real world uh, problem. So in this hackathon, we want to just focus on two of those areas that I showed you initially in that UNICEF page. So one is climate change. I think that's reasonably self-explanatory, and the other one is injecting cryptocurrencies into the world of humanitarian and social aid, more specifically cash transfers. So this may need a bit of an intro, so I've linked a little blog here, but please feel free to Google and then to understand what this means. So agencies such as UNICEF, for many years, we have been sending cash, uh, either in the form of physical cash or some sort of a bank transfer or maybe mobile money in Africa and then so on, to directly help people who really need it the most. Like, for example, right now, a large part of our programs have been going to Ukraine. I won't be surprised if Palestine gets included now as well. And there are large scale programs in Afghanistan, for example, Yemen, and so on. So far, cryptocurrencies has not featured there, but UNICEF does have a method to work with cryptocurrency. So we are wondering what would it take to inject cryptocurrencies into this world. So uh, a platform maybe off ramping is a very very important topic because people still cannot buy a piece of bread using crypto in most of the countries that we know work with. So as long as it is not illegal, and in fact there is good progress being made in regulation in whichever country that UNICEF is working in, I think there is a chance to inject cryptocurrencies into this world and to get aid there faster, cheaper, uh, more transparent, more open to our donors as well. So that's like a whole sort of a background. Yeah. So we have about $10,000 in prize money. So 6,000 for most creative use of Web3 to address climate change, and 4,000 for most novel solution for implementing cryptocurrencies in cash and voucher assistance. Here is some examples of projects that we have done in the past. For example, we have supported a company who created an off ramp, but with no smartphone, only through SMS, so that the world of crypto, more importantly, to use crypto for remittances or maybe a universal basic income program or so on, is now accessible to people even without internet. Uh, 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 we supported a company working on a virtual bank of sorts for refugees, where cross-border transfers was much faster and cheaper. A refi protocol that connected funders with tree planters, where each tree ultimately got its own NFT. Uh, Cash and voucher assistance platforms, and then a protocol which incentivizes citizens and business to take local climate positive actions in their area, and then those actions are tagged in a geo NFT of sort. Uh, these are some examples. So ideas for the hackathon. By the way, please feel free to do your own thing. These are just thoughts from a few heads here. You guys are super creative, and we just want to be very open. So please do not get limited by these ideas. Please be open. Very very happy to discover what you guys come up with. So the criteria uh, for the hackathon itself, how to judge it. So first, when it comes to the tech, I mentioned we are protocol agnostic, but we do have a strong preference for code that do not have any dependencies on closed libraries or closed source components. We just want it to be open source all the way. So this is something important for us. Of course, this is a hackathon. You just have a couple of days. So even if you do use a closed sourced component, because maybe you may not have time to learn uh, another stack, but at least if you know that this can be replaced by this open source alternative, please mention that, so that it just becomes clear that ultimately this solution could be open source all the way. So this is very important for us. uh, of course, we work with the most vulnerable people in the world, so it's very important that all of our solutions does not do any harm. And one of it is any personally identifiable information, a name of somebody, or the address or phone number or whatever, should not go on chain. Um, so that's very crucial to keep in mind, or anything else that could be construed as harmful. So this is important to keep in mind when, as long as you're thinking of the code and then the tech. Then of course the clarity of the MVP for a UNICEF use case. So I'll explain. So it's not just from code completeness, but also clearly articulated business case, right? But UNICEF, we are not like a business, like a for-profit. So for us, a business case means something else. So we look at scalability, for example, like if can this solution be easily deployed in 190 countries, for example. Of course, public blockchains are okay, but maybe this has more to do with the Web 2 part of your solution. Uh, how easily scalable uh, is it? Digital inclusion. So we work in areas with people, the most vulnerable, where maybe there is very low internet availability or like no internet. People may not have smartphones. Huh? And of course, onboarding to Web3, we know that it's tricky. Is there a simpler way to onboard? Is there a more inclusive way to onboard? So these are all things to keep in mind, which we will appreciate a lot. Financial inclusion is a solution meant for the unbanked or the underbanked. Maybe the people with low-ish literacy levels can use it, or the design takes care of this in some other innovative way. So that's for you to think about. I have linked a video here which shows one of our blockchain solutions being piloted last year in Nepal for a cash and voucher assistance in an area which is prone to floods. Do take a look. So while it is a blockchain solution, I mean, this was a permission blockchain solution, but still a high-tech solution. This video gives a good idea of how they made it inclusive. So please do take a look. The novelty of the idea. We do not mean tech novelty alone. So this list that I've shown you here, these are all projects that we have supported. So if it's anything else which is not on that list, that would be nice. Uh, and any other idea that nobody has thought of will be fantastic. So this also matters to us, um, that we that we don't just follow what the rest of the industry is doing, but we sort of lead in certain aspects, including the novelty, even tech. So uh, because UNICEF can do things that traditional businesses can't do, because we do work that typical private sector do not do, and we do it at scale. So uh, if there's a novel idea which fits a UNICEF business case or something like that, please, we are like super happy to look at it and then give it a bit more weightage, if you will. Uh, Finally, this is a this is an interesting one. I told you initially that we are uh, very interested in digital public goods, and we work very closely with the Digital Public Goods Alliance. In fact, I think I've linked it somewhere. This one should, yeah. So this is the website for the Digital Public Goods Alliance. You can take a look at the Digital Public Goods Standard, a couple of which I've already mentioned here. For example, um, platform independence, where we don't use any closed loop or closed components. I've mentioned a little bit of do no harm, etc. But you of course can. Sorry, this one personally identifiable data, but you can take a look at the standard itself to get some idea. But this last point is about the registry. So the DPG website has a DPG registry, which has a list of um, projects around the world which fulfill all the criteria of, as mentioned in the DPG standard, which has been vetted by the DPG Alliance, which is now present here. All of these projects have, of course, pages which links to their repo. So should be a repo somewhere. Let me see. You take this one, for example, and this is about content. Okay, at least there is a website. This one also has a website and it has a repo. Okay, so essentially there are links here which points to their code base, and of course there is a full explanation of what this project is about. So there are a list of projects here which you can filter by SDG. So the idea here is, can you build on top of, or can you utilize the services provided by this current list of DPGs as mentioned in the DPG registry? So if you're working on the climate problem statement, you can of course filter by that. And there are other areas which could tie into including cryptocurrency in humanitarian aid, like ending poverty, or something around uh, zero hunger also could link to that. I mean, there could be interesting solutions here. So do take a look, and if you are able to build on top of this, right, or if you can maybe extend the functionality of some of these DPGs, or use their data in some way, basically link to them. That will be very cool, because we do want this to become an ecosystem of its own. Many of those DPGs have nothing to do with Web3. Can Web3 help them in some way? So that's also an angle, in which case, of course, I mean, ultimately the link back to climate or the link back to aid, humanitarian or social protection aid has to be made. But this is an interesting criteria for you guys. You can take a look in the coming days and maybe prepare accordingly. So that's about it. I hope this gives a good overview. Would highly recommend reading through some of our links to inform yourself of what we do, especially the UNICEF Venture Fund website, and of course the website of the Office of Innovation, and the DPG, the DPGA website as well. And yeah, I wish you all the best, and I really hope to discover some fantastic work, and the best case scenario, if that goes on to become a company, that ultimately I would be able to work with you on a formal capacity through the UNICEF Venture Fund. Thank you so much for your interest, and I hope to meet you guys soon. Thank you.